Hello everybody and welcome back to the chassis variant series of myself, Critical Rocket. We're with the Black Knights, and this is the BL-7-KNT-L model. The L actually stands for Free Worlds League, or House Marik, meaning that the mech is essentially a minor modification. On the field during the Succession Wars, House Marik has had a notorious history of never really being able to make PPCs in particularly large numbers, and in some cases you could even extrapolate within your own game settings that Marik at times didn't even have any capability for producing the PPC. This resulted in many of their mechs turning into unique models because they'd replace PPCs with large lasers instead. This would result in peculiar models that would usually come with little perceived bonuses. In this case with the Black Knight, where the PPC would fail on their models, either through battle damage or just wear and tear, due to their inability to replace them, they'd put a large laser there, and the extra weight that was left over allowed them to include an extra 2 double heatsinks, or a single heatsink or two, into their model, which effectively made it ever so slightly better for heat management. In terms of MechWarrior line, this makes zero difference. This is still a energy boat, a very hardcore version. Comes with 8 particular hardpoints spread across the mech from the arms to the side torsos and up to the head. The mech is particularly well armoured and is actually the fastest of the Black Knights. It has the highest engine rating, as I have checked, at 385, and did my homework on this one properly. So yes, it can run a respectable 80 odd kph with all the speed tweak skills unlocked if you want to go that fast with your heavy, with your 75 tonner. Otherwise, it's you know, just again a very tough 75 ton all energy boat. It's obviously suffering from things like heat management being one of your issues, but on the other side of it, you've got a pretty respectable mech that can bring a hell of a lot of damage very, very quickly. So, yeah, as I've said in the other 2 videos, if you haven't watched them, or if you have, I'd recommend it. It's much of the... It's a very similar thing across the board. The problem with some mechs in BattleTech is that it's kind of a variation of the same theme. This can be seen with some mechs across the board, like crabs and such, because they're just built to do one thing, which is they carry a lot of energy weaponry and they get into the fight. And part of this is down to the tabletop roots of a lot of the mechs, obviously, because you'd want mechs that didn't rely too much on ammunition, because you know, ammunition was scarce during campaigns, or it was just harder to come by, and it would generally mean you would be in positions where you may sometimes run out of ammunition during a longer campaign, and you wouldn't be able to use a weapon that was rather vital to the mech. Say it was like a hunchback running out of AC-20 ammunition. It's, you know, it essentially becomes a cicada in some respects. Just a bigger one with more armour, but moves slower. And so there was an emphasis on some mechs being more suited to long, protracted battles, which would be things like the Crab and the Wolfhound, the Black Knight here, and other energy-based mechs, because they could stay in the fight longer, provided they still had some armour and weren't too badly damaged. They could always retreat for repairs and didn't have to worry too much about getting a repair and rearm as often. And so you'd get minor variations. On a few occasions you get, you know, the designers will come up with something a little bit different, such as the Awesome series of mechs, which generally focused on things like having a lot of lasers or having PPCs, but, you know, you do have, I believe it's the 8T model, which had LRMs. You know, sometimes, excuse me, sometimes the writers would do that, and they would come up with different builds just to make things a little bit different, give you some tactical flexibility out there as a GM for making an enemy encounter be a little bit different. It's like, oh, it's an Awesome, but it's got missiles. Well, okay, that caught me out. Or a Jaeger mech, that, you know, the Jaeger mech model that has LRMs instead of more ballistics. And other times you just want something that would scare the crap out of your players, and a Black Knight would do that, you know, because it's got shitloads of energy hardpoints and it can engage you at all ranges. That's part of my problem with a lack of character in MWO, because of the customization element. I know this really is about the Black Knight, just buy it, it's great, it's fucking awesome mech. I feel the customization element actually robs a lot of the mechs of the character that they originally had and the intended role that they were supposed to fill. When you just allow X mech to have the exact same build as this mech, the mech is no longer, neither mech is what its original name or intended goal was. It's just a shape that has hardpoints attached to it, and there's no real character or personality to that mech anymore. It's gone, and now you're just left with a collection of hardpoints that allow you to just jack in whatever fucking weapon you want and go with that because it's more effective. One of the downsides I always felt in the MechWarrior series, personally, which I think is why there's some people clamouring for BattleTech, because although there will be some level of customization, it probably won't be anywhere near as ridiculous as you have here in MechWarrior Online, where a Zeus, once you change it enough, isn't a Zeus, and once you change an Awesome enough, it isn't an Awesome. It looks like it's some kind of Frankenmech that's wearing its skin. So while this jet fighter flies overhead, I'm gonna leave you there. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good week, and I'll see you for the next chassis video series. Buy the Black Knight, it's very good. Buy the Black Knight, buy the Black Knight. Black Knight's awesome. Black Knight's great. Buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it.